You look like someone who needs $500, the deep voice said behind her. Mia froze, the cup of coffee trembling in her hands. She turned around to see a man in an expensive charcoal gray suit, his eyes tired yet piercing, like someone who carried too much inside, but didn't know how to let it out. Before we go deeper into this story of fate, love, and second chances, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more heart-touching stories like this one. Mia blinked at the stranger, unsure whether to laugh or run. "Excuse me?" she asked, clutching her tray. The cafe was busy that morning. Students typing on laptops, couples whispering softly, and the sound of espresso machines filling the air. But at that moment, everything else seemed to fade around her. "I'm serious," the man said, pulling a folded check from his pocket. $500. All you have to do is pretend to be my date for one day. Maya's first instinct was to think it was a prank. Maybe one of those hidden camera things she'd seen online. But the man's expression wasn't playful. It was distant, heavy, and real. She studied him quietly. His posture screamed wealth and confidence, but his eyes, they looked lonely. "You're serious?" she finally said. He nodded. "I wouldn't waste your time otherwise." Maya placed her tray down, her curiosity getting the better of her. "Why me? There are probably 100 girls who'd say yes without thinking." "Because you're not like them," he replied softly. "You looked at me when I walked in." "Not at my watch, not my clothes. Just me." His words unsettled her. She didn't even remember looking at him that way. She was just trying to guess if he wanted sugar with his coffee. The man offered a faint smile. "I'm Ryan Hale. Mia Turner," she said cautiously, shaking his hand. His palm was warm, his handshake steady, but she could feel a strange sadness beneath his calmness. Ryan explained everything in a tone both businesslike and personal. He had a corporate charity gala that night. His ex-fiancée would be there, with the man she'd left him for. The media would swarm him, the investors would watch, and he refused to show up alone like a man defeated by heartbreak. "So you need a fake date?" Mia asked. He nodded. "For one night. No strings attached. I'll pay you for your time and cover everything. I just need someone genuine beside me." It was absurd. Completely absurd. Yet something about his honesty, his quiet desperation, made her hesitate to say no. Maya worked at that cafe every morning, just to afford her night classes in art and design. $500 was more than her rent, but pretending to be a stranger's date, for a CEO, no less, that sounded like walking into another world. "I don't even have a dress," she murmured, staring at the check he was sliding toward her. "I'll take care of that," Ryan said, his voice gentle, "if you agree." Maya looked around the cafe one last time. At her coworker behind the counter, at the customers sipping lattes, at the dull life she was struggling to keep afloat. Then she looked back at Ryan. "Fine. One day. That's it." A flicker of relief crossed his face, and for the first time, he almost smiled. "One day?" he repeated. By afternoon, Maya found herself sitting in the back of a black luxury car, staring out at a city she'd never seen from this angle before. A personal assistant had helped her choose a gown, an elegant deep blue dress that shimmered like midnight. Her hair was done, her makeup flawless. She hardly recognized the reflection in the window. Ryan sat beside her, typing on his phone, calm and controlled as always. Yet every so often, she caught him glancing at her, as if surprised by how effortlessly she fit the part. "You don't have to worry," he said finally. "Just smile when people talk to you. And if anyone asks, we've been seeing each other for a few months." Mia nodded, her heart pounding. "Right. Because that sounds totally normal," she said, half teasing. He chuckled softly, the sound warm but brief. "You'll do fine." When they arrived at the gala, the crowd turned. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. Ryan Hale, the reclusive CEO of Hale Innovations, was rarely seen in public. And now, he wasn't alone. Mia slipped her arm through his, trying not to tremble. "They're all staring," she whispered. "Let them." Ryan murmured, his voice calm and steady. "You're doing great." The night unfolded like a dream. Mia met people she'd only ever seen on magazine covers. Everyone assumed she was someone important. A designer, an entrepreneur, a mystery. Ryan introduced her gracefully, his hand never leaving hers. But beneath the glamour, Mia saw glimpses of who he really was. The polite smiles that didn't reach his eyes. The way his jaw tightened whenever someone mentioned his ex's name. And when she finally saw the woman, his ex, fiancée, beautiful and confident with her arm hooked through another man's, Mia understood. This wasn't just pride. This was heartbreak disguised as composure. Ryan squeezed her hand a little tighter, as if drawing strength from her presence. "You okay?" Mia whispered when they had a moment alone. He nodded faintly. "I am now." They stepped out to the balcony later, away from the noise and champagne laughter. The night air was cool, the city light stretching endlessly below. Ryan loosened his tie, leaning on the railing. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for doing this. I didn't realize how much I needed to not be alone tonight." Mia smiled softly. "Sometimes, pretending helps us remember we're still human." He looked at her then. Not as his fake date. Not as someone he'd hired. But as if seeing her for the first time. "You're full of surprises, Mia Turner." "So are you, Mr. Hale," she replied with a playful spark. And for a fleeting moment, under the stars, they both forgot it was all an act. What neither of them knew was that this one-day arrangement would soon unravel everything they thought they knew about themselves. And each other. The morning after the gala, Maya woke up to sunlight pouring through the soft white curtains of the guest suite Ryan had arranged for her. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Ryan read simply, "Breakfast downstairs, 9 a.m. Don't be late." For a brief moment, she wondered if everything that happened last night had been a dream. The expensive car, the sparkling ballroom, the way he'd looked at her under the city lights. But the gown draped neatly over the chair reminded her that it was all real, painfully, beautifully real. Mia dressed quietly and made her way to the dining room. Ryan was already there, in a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled up, coffee in hand. His tie was missing, his hair slightly undone. For once, he didn't look like the untouchable CEO. He looked human. "Morning," she greeted softly, sliding into the chair opposite him. "Morning," he replied, his tone lighter than usual. "You did great last night. Everyone was asking about you." She smiled shyly. "Oh, and what did you tell them?" "That you're someone who makes life unexpectedly interesting." She laughed, stirring her coffee to hide her blush. I guess our deal's over then?" Ryan hesitated, fingers tapping lightly on the table. "Technically, yes. But I was wondering if—" He stopped mid-sentence, catching himself. "Never mind." Mia tilted her head. "If what?" "If you'd like to have lunch sometime. No cameras, no pretending. Just two people." Her breath caught. For a moment, she thought he was joking. But Ryan Hale didn't joke. Not like that. His tone was sincere, his gaze steady. "Ryan," she started, uncertain. "You don't have to feel obligated. I mean, you paid me." "I didn't pay you for you," he interrupted gently. "I paid for your time. But what I got was something else. You made last night bearable. You made me feel seen." His voice cracked slightly at the end, and for the first time, Mia saw through every layer of control he carried. He wasn't just a man trying to impress people. He was someone who'd been broken and hadn't figured out how to heal. Lunch turned into dinner. Dinner turned into long conversations that stretched past midnight. Days passed, and the line between an agreement and a connection began to blur. Ryan found reasons to see her. A walk in the park, a visit to the cafe where she worked. He once showed up, suit and all, ordering a latte just to make her laugh. "You don't even drink coffee?" she teased. He smiled. "No, but I like seeing you make it." Every time he looked at her, Maya felt her walls crumbling. She knew this wasn't supposed to happen. He was a man from another world. Wealth, status, power. And she was just a barista with dreams too small for a man like him. But love never asked permission. One evening, Ryan invited her to his penthouse for dinner. The city lights glowed beneath them as soft jazz played in the background. She wore a simple white dress, her hair falling freely. He looked at her like she was the only thing that mattered. "Mia," he said quietly, "I haven't felt this at peace in years." She looked down, trying to steady her heart. "Ryan, what are we doing?" "I don't know," he admitted. "But whatever it is, it feels right." And before she could speak, he reached across the table and took her hand. His touch was steady, warm, and real. The moment was perfect. Until his phone rang. His face changed instantly when he saw the name on the screen. "It's my father," he muttered, stepping aside. Mia watched as his voice turned sharp, distant. The conversation sounded heated. She only caught fragments. "No, I'm not coming back. She's not part of your company. This isn't a business arrangement." When he returned, his jaw was tight. "I'm sorry. He thinks I'm distracted, that you're just..." He stopped himself, but she already knew. "Just another temporary thing," she finished for him, her voice trembling. Ryan closed his eyes. "That's not what I think." "But it's what everyone else does," she whispered. "And maybe they're right. You hired me for a day, Ryan. You didn't fall in love with me. You fell in love with the idea of not being alone." Her words hit him like glass breaking. She stood up before he could reply. "Thank you for everything. But I can't be part of a life I don't belong to." And just like that, she walked away. Out of the glass walls, out of the glittering view, out of the world that was never hers to begin with. Weeks passed. Ryan tried to drown himself in work, meetings, and late nights at the office. But every corner of his life reminded him of her. The scent of coffee, the sound of laughter in the streets, the color of the sky at dusk. His assistant once found him sitting at the cafe she used to work in, staring at the empty corner table. "Sir, should I get you something?" He only shook his head.
No.
"I'm waiting for someone." But she never came. Then one rainy afternoon, as he was leaving a meeting, Ryan saw her across the street. Hair damp, holding a portfolio tight against her chest. She was running through the rain toward a small art gallery. Without thinking, he followed. Inside, the gallery walls were lined with beautiful paintings. Vivid, emotional pieces, full of light and longing. And then he saw it. A painting titled, "The Day We Pretended." It showed a ballroom scene. Two people standing under chandeliers, surrounded by glittering crowds, looking only at each other. He turned around, and there she was. Mia froze when she saw him, her eyes wide. "Ryan." He took a step closer, rain dripping from his coat. "You painted us?" "I painted what I couldn't say," she whispered. He smiled faintly. "Then let me say what I couldn't before." Ryan reached into his pocket. Not for money this time, but a small velvet box. "The first time I saw you, I thought you were just a way to fix one night. But you became the reason I wanted to fix my whole life." Maya's tears mixed with the rain as he opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring. "This isn't a deal. This isn't pretend. This is me asking you, will you be my forever date?" She covered her mouth, unable to speak. But her tears, her smile, and the way she threw her arms around him said everything. As the audience in the gallery turned to watch, the two stood there, real, imperfect, and completely in love. And that's how it all began. Not with a fairy tale, but with a question that changed two lonely hearts forever. "Here's $500. Will you pretend to be my date for a day?"